everyone, as everyone may already know, there's a couple of different groups of iPhones that I would always recommend pretty much avoiding if you're trying to go through and purchase and pick up, a brand new iPhone. But even if you're trying to buy a used iPhone, I think there's a group of iPhones that we already know not to buy, unsupported ones, broken ones. If you're trying to use it as your main device, just keep those things in mind. However, there's another group of iPhones that I think I'm pretty much going to throw in here, mostly because it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to go and buy or pick up these types of iPhones anymore, especially if you're trying to go through and actually use a device that you're going to use for many, many years from now. And these particular devices are really any iPhones that are 64 gigabytes or less. I think before the cutoff point was around 32 and 64 was good, but I am starting to think that 64 gigs of storage on a phone may not be the best. Now, there's a few reasons for this. Number one, as some of you may know, if you actually go through and actually get a device, with 64 gigabytes of storage, that might be good for the time being. For the time being, it may be perfectly fine. However, the big thing to keep in mind is that application sizes are only going to be getting bigger and bigger, games are only going to be getting bigger and bigger, and software updates are only going to require more and more storage. And theoretically speaking, if you already buy a 64 gigabyte iPhone, that's probably going to be an iPhone 12 or lower. Since the iPhone 13, Apple hasn't really made any type of iPhone that was 64 gigabytes. So that's another pretty big thing to keep in mind. So when I compile all those things together, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense to buy an iPhone like a 64 gigabyte device, because you're just going to be already somewhat outdated with hardware, I would kind of say, with that type of device, which can be kind of an annoyance and kind of a problem for some people. So I wouldn't really recommend people to buy any type of iPhone like that anymore because of that storage model. But I would also say on top of that, another big problem when you're getting an iPhone that has a small amount of storage is that the app updates and just everything surrounded by that particular device is going to be giving you some sort of problems. Mostly when it comes down to installing updates, installing application updates, and all those things. And you're going to be having a limited version of a phone if you're not able to go ahead and have as many photos or videos or anything like that you want on your device. That can be kind of an annoyance and kind of a problem if you're wanting to go and use this device as an everyday device. So I say that to say, if you're in the market and if you're trying to look for a brand new phone or a used iPhone, I would not recommend buying a 64 gigabyte phone anymore. I think personally for my usage, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. You are much better off purchasing an iPhone that is at least like 128 gigabytes or more. If you buy 64 gigabytes or less, it's just not going to be a good version of the device. I don't think you're going to be getting, and I think you're going to kind of regret it probably within like a week or two. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.